I, William Samoei Ruto.
When President William Ruto was elected, he made several trips to the Mount Kenya region, most of them to attend church services in various counties or to launch development projects.
Yes, you consider delivering from this end.
Ruto's affection for the region culminated in a Thanksgiving event for Mount Kenya residents who had voted for him. The event was held at Sagana State Lodge, where residents feasted. Things seemed to go awry shortly after his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua was ousted, and the region felt aggravated and turned hostile. Since Gachagua's removal, President Ruto has only returned to the area once, during a church service in Embu, where the reception was anything but warm. His visits to the region have noticeably reduced over time.
Kenya people are using Gachagua to show their resentment against William Ruto. It's not that they like him. When time comes to choose the leader, it won't be Gachagua. You get me? Just like Barnabas was used to mock Jesus Christ. But when redemption came, who redeemed the world?
I think the president is clever enough to do things differently. And one thing I want to say here, because I know sometimes we may say things and people ask why we are saying that. I may predict the president will be going to Mount Kenya, but not oftenly. At the same time, the president would like to see those projects that stalled in Mount Kenya complete.
Analysts suggest several reasons for Ruto's avoiding Mount Kenya. One major and obvious reason is his strained relationship with his former deputy, Gachagua, whose ouster angered local residents, posing the question as to whether the president fears the growing open opposition and discontent.
You cannot give him leadership just because your son and people hate him. So Mount Kenya is guarding their son as their son, and that is justifiable, and they should do it.
When you talk about government criticism, it is not the enemy which is supposed to criticize the government. It is those people who voted for the government. So if you voted for the government, you need to criticize this if you feel the government is not doing well. But if the enemies comes together and want to criticize the government, they bring anger, and they also want vengeance for the things probably that never went well in the past.
Political observers also highlight unrealized promises as another possible factor deterring Ruto from visiting the region as frequently as before. A recent planned 3-day tour of the region was cancelled owing to what insiders termed as intel on plans to disrupt the tour.
Mount Kenya was meant to rebel against the president because the president overpromised them things they could not do. He promised them economy. Mount Kenya works on tangible things. So tangible, like the business should thrive, the business environment should work. They are importers, they are traders, they are farmers, the Mau Mau Road. And they have given him enough time and discovered that he can't do, he won't do, he is not able of doing, and he'll never do.
The president's popularity in the mountain appears to be on the decline. Recently, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua alleged that the government was using the outlawed Mungiki group to undermine him, a claim analysts see as part of a broader political strategy.
Wamekuja hapa 31st. Huyo kiongozi ametangaza mchana that amepewa kazi na serikali ya kuzunguka katika mlima Kenya to force the people to accept the president and his deputy and to escort the leaders ambayo wamekataliwa na watu wakuja mashinani.
Meanwhile, President Ruto has been making multiple trips to Nyanza and Western region in what is seen as an attempt to court new voter bases. However, the lingering question of whether Raila Odinga will secure the chairmanship of the African Union Commission AUC continues to hover over Ruto's political ambitions for 2027. Analysts argue that Ruto's outreach to Nyanza may be short-lived since the region has little to gain from his Kenya Kwanza administration and remains a difficult area to win over, terming it as a temporary political lifeline.
Ruto wants what's called political oxygen, because now, if you go to Mount Kenya, they are shouting at you, isn't it? You go everywhere, they are shouting at you. When you go to Kisumu, they can welcome you. So this is a political oxygen for now, between now and 2027, because for Ruto to go for 2027, he needs to survive between now and 2027. Because 25th of June, he nearly collapsed. But then who brought him back? It's Raila who gave him the oxygen.
I don't think he'll have that energy to campaign and be the president. he would like to see probably Ruto win 2027 and then they have their own plan 2032. Maybe they bring somebody else that they think can work for them.
Adding to Ruto's challenges, the Gen Z generation has become increasingly critical of his governance and is threatening to have their own on the ballot for the 2027 election.
For us, we are looking for alternative leadership. Alternative leadership which will be led by fresh blood, people who do not have legacy issues of corruption, people who are full of integrity, people who can be accountable. We want to professionalize politics in this country because politics is too serious to leave in the hands of career politicians.
Remember, our politics is based on finances. You saw Omtata being forced to actually accept to be a candidate in 2027. And the first thing that he said, he was afraid of the finances, but now he feels like he has gotten some friends to work with. So the same case with Gen Z, the Zuma group. So they'll also need to ask themselves whether they have the muscles.
Ultimately, when President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza came to power, they had campaigned on grounds of a Christian-led government and received significant support from the church. However, the church has also recently appeared to distance itself from the administration, following what they termed as unfulfilled promises.
You cannot even convince people. Look at the opinion poll, InfoTrack Harris, shows what? Only 17% approval. Who goes to an election through that? No one has ever won an election with that.
Martin Opio, K24 TV, Nairobi.